This is Outside the Round with Matt Burrill, a Raise Rowdy podcast.
Yeah. What's going on, well, girls and guys? How we doing? Welcome back to Outside the Round with me, Matt Burrill, a Raise Rowdy podcast. Quick shout out to our friends from Surfside, No Bubbles, No Troubles. Today, a very special guest, a young buck who I've been jamming to here recently. He's been putting out some great songs. He's from the great state of Florida, knows a thing or two about being out on those charter boats. It's my boy Madden Metcalf. Bubba, how you doing?
Doing great. I'm happy to be here this morning.
Dude, I'm happy to have you, man. And coming from Florida, it was nice and warm, and then we had the crazy weather here the other day, and now it's back down to chill again.
Yeah, man. I mean, I spent a couple weeks in Nashville when it was real cold and there was ice on the ground and everything, and I was so happy to be back in Florida, and it warmed up about 80 degrees.
Yeah.
And then I woke up this morning and it's back to cold, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, man. How long you been coming up here now?
I made my first official trip to Nashville in May of 24, May of 25. Yeah.
So not even a year ago.
Right.
And you've got all this stuff happening right now, man.
It's insane.
It is, man.
It's crazy.
It's wild, dude. I mean, I Don't Want to Cry Anymore is a song that I listen to regularly. Like you're putting out some great stuff, dude. You're killing it.
Dude, thank you. I'm stoked about what's to come and the future from here, just working.
Yeah, man. So I guess take me back to growing up along the coast, kind of the forgotten coast of Florida down there.
The Forgotten Coast is a place that, folks, especially from the upper southeast, like Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, it's all like a spring break kind of thing. They come to Destin or Panama City Beach, and if they're real lovers of the Forgotten Coast, they're going to like St. George.
Yeah.
And so like growing up along that area is just, for me to live there, I never understood how other folks thought of it until I come up here and they're all talking about, oh, I love Destin so much and I love PCB so much. And I'm like, it's just home for me. It's all I ever knew. And so realizing that not everybody grew up fishing on the coast or even hunting on the coast, duck hunting on the coast, it's super cool, and seeing everybody's, enthusiasm about talking about Florida is just awesome.
Yeah, man, that's kind of how I feel. I've been down here in Nashville for about 8 years now, but I grew up about 30 minutes outside New York City. And it's like growing up, I just took it all for granted at what I had access to. So you talk about being from a vacation destination, you just kind of take it for granted. Like life is just being able to go out on boats and enjoy beautiful weather and enjoy some of the best seafood in the world, bro.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'm fourth generation commercial fisherman.
Wow.
So growing up with that, one of my dad's best friends, for now we'll just call him Uncle. I was going, working at his restaurant for a while. I was like, off the record, 14.
Yeah.
And there's no child labor laws whenever it's your dad's best friend you're working for.
Family business, bro. I worked in my family business from the time I was like 10 or 11, so I got you.
And my dad started working for his dad at the same age I started working for him.
Yeah.
And so one thing led to another, and I'm like, hey, is there any way I could just go out front and play guitar, play the same songs like over and over and over again? And he's like, absolutely, but when we close the restaurant down, you better bring your ass back in this kitchen so we can clean it up. And I'm like, yes, sir. So I go out there and I played the same 10. It was like Hank Jr., some Riley Green, and maybe some Jimmy Buffett, Kenny Chesney. It's just Florida vibes.
Yeah.
And I played those same 10 songs. I made like $40 or $50, and I thought it was like, I'm never going back to the kitchen ever again. And I went back to the kitchen and cleaned up, and a few months later started working on the crab boat and commercial fishing, and just really that's when I started getting to understand what I can write about. Like they say, write what you know, and working out there and just busting your tail every day. There's nothing better for me to write about than just like, the best thing about being out there is you can't think about what's going on back home. You got to think about reeling in this fish, or, pulling the next crab trap or throwing out the next crab trap.
Yeah.
So, I love it.
Yeah, man, it's a work ethic and a grind that's needed to succeed in music, with getting songs out there, spending time in the studio, writing songs, all the meetings with the team, all that. It takes a lot of work ethic. So to have those skills from being out on the boat and being out on the water with the family, man, that's obviously translated pretty well, I'm sure, for you.
I like to say I know what I could be doing right now.
Yeah.
Besides sitting right here at Raised Rowdy.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So when did the ball really start rolling for you? You've been coming up here less than a year now. So kind of take me through the journey of what led you to coming up here and really being able to be the guy that's got songs out there that people are listening to.
I mean, my dad has always played guitar, and music was always so big for us, but I never understood. It's the same thing like being from Florida. I never understood how big it was to us until I started hanging out with folks that didn't listen to music as much as we did. And I asked him, I'm like, why do you listen to, Johnny Cash so much? And he's like, well, it's not even about Johnny Cash. It's, I understand there's a story, and I'm being told a story. And I was like, okay. So he said, if you can't tell a story from a song, don't listen to it. And I was like, yes, sir. So that was probably 10 years old. And I just tried to take a story from everything I heard. And I just fell in love with the storytelling of country music. And one thing led to another. In 2018, my dad and Riley Green had a mutual buddy. We went backstage. Riley played at Florida State. And I saw Riley playing on stage and just this crowd of people. He was just entertaining, a couple thousand people. I told my dad, I was like, I want to learn how to play the guitar. So he taught me, and I thought he was going to kill me. I mean, because I didn't, I wanted to play all the easy stuff, and he's trying to teach me, exactly how to do it right. And I was 13, and finally, after a little bit of practicing and falling in love with it, I started to be a little bit better than he was, and I started writing songs, my freshman year of high school, and I was going off to college. And I asked my dad, I said, look, I got 3 Division III scholarship offers to go play football right now. My dad played college football, high school football. He was my high school football coach.
Oh, wow, coach's son. Yeah. That's a whole other dynamic to get into.
And I always like to say, my dad was a coach, but I was never a coach's son. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I just went up to him and I said, look, Dad, you played college football. I got 3 Division III offers from 14 hours away, upper North Carolina. Are you going to be mad with me if I turn down these scholarships to go pursue music? And he's like, no. And I'm like, Dad, are you sure?
Yeah.
And he's like, I promise you I won't be mad if you go pursue music. And I walked in my room and thought about it for a little bit. And I'm like, no way he's, being for real. I walked back out there and I said, Dad, this is the last time I'm asking, are you sure you're not going to be mad with me? He said, son, I don't have 2 hip replacements and a shoulder replacement because I played guitar in college. That was my answer from then on.
Yeah.
And so I went to Gulf Coast State College and got halfway through my first semester, and this guy, Freddie Wexler, texted me on Instagram, and I saw the blue check mark, and I was like, I don't know who Freddie Wexler is.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is definitely a scam, right? And I chat GPT'd him because I had it pulled up for economics.
Ask the robots, man. Ask the robots.
And chat GPT told me everything I needed to know. And a few days later, Freddie called me. He's like, look, you can come out to LA this weekend, or I can come to Florida in a couple weeks because I got kids and stuff. I'm like, I'll see you this weekend.
Yeah.
So went out, and there was just a chemistry in recording and writing and the whole 9 yards. It was something great that we both felt.
Yeah.
And a few months later, signed with him, and within a year, we've just written 1 million songs and signed with MCA, early this year.
Yeah.
It's been crazy what we've accomplished together in the last year.
Yeah, man, and it's really just getting started. I want to go back to you asking your dad that question, and I think part of what even for me with moving down here from New York, I moved down here when I was 23 and really took a chance. Didn't know a lot of people down here, and my parents were like, go for it. Having parents that champion you and are like, hey, go do your thing. Like, that is such a huge thing to have. So for your dad to say, I'm not going to be mad if you turn down the scholarship and don't follow my footsteps here, but you do what you want to do, man. Like, you wouldn't be where you're at today without that moment.
Absolutely. He's it's really cool that I can send him, hey, this is a demo of a song we wrote today, and by the time I get back, he works in my uncle's restaurant on Friday, Saturday nights, and he, char grills and does all the snapper and the whole char grill and stuff.
Getting me hungry over here talking about that.
He's on aux. He runs the Bluetooth.
Nice.
And so he's playing all these songs I've written for all my buddies in the kitchen. And by the time I get back, they're like, man, I wrote this song 2 weeks ago. And they're like, man, I love that song. That's the best one you've. And I'm like, how do you know that? And they're like, oh, your dad's played everything. And I'm like,
that's awesome.
But it's cool to go back and, see what they like and hear how much support I have back home.
Yeah, man. I mean, it takes the hometown thing is special, and a song that I love that you'd put out, like My Hometown. Talk about that a little bit, because you're somebody that is a proud Floridian, and that's always going to be something that's in you, man.
Absolutely, and it's so overlooked in the country world. Like Florida and country folks usually don't put together. And I went out to LA one of my first times out there, and somebody said, if you're from Florida, why do you talk like that? And I was like, I'm not from your Florida. I'm from my Florida. I'm from North Florida. You're thinking Orlando, Miami. I'm talking about, Wakulla County.
Yeah.
And that is something nobody ever thought of. And they're like, so what do you mean North Florida? I'm like, look, you're in Florida until you're in Orlando, and everything south of that is South Florida.
Yeah.
And we're basically an extension of South Georgia, South Alabama.
Yeah.
In North Florida. But like my hometown, we just had this idea of, you get to know somebody so well, and you can know people well all the time, but every now and then you get a chance to know somebody just like you do your hometown. Every beauty mark, every freckle, the good, the bad, the ugly. And we thought there was something really special about being able to know somebody the same way you do your hometown. And that comparison is just spot on for falling in love with somebody or just knowing them in general. So it was really special to be able to, relate those two things and bring out the hometown in my music.
Yeah, man. Florida is a state, like you said, that gets overlooked with country music. I mean, you talk about the history of folks that are from down there, like Brian Kelly from Florida Georgia Line, Jake Owen, John Anderson singing about the Seminole Wind. Like, there's so much history of great. I mean, and even the Southern rock stuff, like the Skinners, the Molly Hatchets, the Outlaws. Like, there's so many people that come from North Florida, whether it's out towards the Panhandle or it's up there in Duval. Like
Absolutely.
It's such a musical state. And I think a huge part of that is you guys have so many opportunities to play. You talk about your uncle's restaurant. I think of places like the Floribama. I think of all those bars like the Salty Goat that's in Panama City. Yeah, man. And like the locals that are down there and the tourists, they love live music. Like you're in an environment where you grow up listening to bands play versus DJs. The DJ thing is like a South Florida thing,
right? Exactly. Yeah, I mean, all up and down the Forgotten Coast, you're not going to pass many places without live music.
Yeah,
and it's such a cool thing because I've been able to see cover bands entertain like they're the headliners of Gulf Coast Jam.
Yeah,
and it's just a Friday night in St. Mark's or a Friday night in Panacea. And these cover bands are doing the same thing that Wallen's doing for just 5% of the people.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to be able to take notes from folks who have been doing it and doing the road thing for a really long time.
Yeah, man, because there are so many cover bands that do that road thing or play at Flounders down there. That's another spot that I remember my buddy Trey Lewis used to play at all the time doing cover gigs. And like it is such a part of the culture. I mean, the Floribama is an institution that we've gotten to be lucky enough to do some events with Raised Rowdy down at. But it's like live music is just so championed, and there are so many like guys or girls that make livings just being full-time musicians living down there in Florida because you have the opportunity to play shows all year round.
Exactly. I mean, it's something I'm so grateful for, and going to other places, the only place you see something like that is here in town. I mean, in Nashville is the only place you see that has as much live music as 38, Destin, Panama City Beach, Panama City. Like, you don't see that anywhere else besides here in town.
And everybody's good down there too.
Yeah.
People are solid
And like
the live music thing.
When I moved to Panama City to go to college, I was trying to book my own shows, and I wasn't with Freddie yet. And all these bars have such talented bands that it's like so hard from the outside to move in and try to book these shows.
Yeah.
And it's like, even if they hear me, I send them videos, it's like their schedule is booked for the next year.
Well, they know who draws.
Exactly.
They know there's a band that's been playing there for a decade or two.
Yeah.
And they know every Friday night they have them at the Salty Goat or wherever. They're going to get the same 50 to 75 people, and that's going to pack that bar out.
Yeah, a buddy of mine plays with Danny and the Chicks. They're fantastic. That dude shreds and can sing too. My uncle that was like lead for praise and worship at his church introduced me to him. He's like, you should go over there and write and play guitar with him. And I went and played with him, saw him play, and they would let me play a few songs just to try to start booking shows. And that guy shreds.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're talented artists. Like, they may be playing cover shows and only cover shows, but the things that they're doing with those songs to make them theirs and really entertain a crowd, it's unbelievable.
And those medleys, bro. When they get into their medleys and mix like some heaters together, man, like there's some. That's the thing too. Is like you got connected with Freddie and got eyes on you through social media and posting videos in your small town. But there's a lot of guys and girls that'll blow up, but don't have the experience of playing in front of people. They play in front of a phone, the right industry people see them, and then they get thrown on tour, but they don't know how to be on a stage.
Right.
You've been watching people on stage your whole life. You've gotten the opportunity to try to win over a room of people that are eating seafood at a restaurant, So I feel like that experience is going to help you so much when you get out there on tour doing the damn thing.
It's, one of the best pieces of advice I could have ever asked for. My dad said, whether you're playing for 10 people or 10,000 people, you play the exact same way.
Yeah.
And so playing these waterfront restaurants where folks are just there to eat until maybe 9:30 when I got 30 minutes left in my show, and then they start drinking. It's really rough to sit up there and be like, I'm background noise right now.
Yeah.
But if you can find a way to stand out in those restaurants, then you can find a way to stand out in any other crowd in the world.
Yeah, bro. Absolutely.
Folks are worried about one thing, and it's eating. They're not worried about music. If they were playing Jimmy Buffett over the speakers, they'd feel the same way unless you really try to stand out.
Yeah, man. Speaking of eating, what's your go-to seafood?
So at the restaurant in Panacea, we have this thing that I invented at 14.
You invented it. All right, you're the creator.
So I was like, I want yum yum squid. We have like our signature yum yum sauce, and they say calamari. Sorry, calamari, yum yum calamari. And I was like, but I want some shrimp, maybe some fried oysters too. So we just threw a bunch of stuff together, and my uncle that owns the restaurant, he's Greek, and so we called it Greek goulash.
Ooh.
And we just threw all this stuff together and just smothered it in yum yum sauce. Cannot beat it. I mean,
the Greeks know how to cook. I got a cousin whose family's from like Cyprus, like one of the islands off of Greece, and they have a chain of diners along the Jersey Shore, where like those 24-hour diners, you can get whatever you want. The menu's like the size of the Bible, like it's just endless options.
Yeah.
The Greeks know how to do it, man. They know the restaurant game.
it's wild. Have you ever been to Captain Anderson's in Panama City Beach?
I don't think so.
It's same family, same Greek family, and their way of cooking is the exact same. I don't understand it. They do Greek style everything, and it's like Cavender's Greek seasoning. Shout out.
Yeah, like you could put lamb with anything, bro, and it's just unbelievable. You get into those like kebabs, you get old tzatziki in there.
What do they
bro.
call them? It's spelled Gyro. Hero.
So I've heard people say, I grew up saying gyros, but then I was corrected to say euros, but I still say gyros sometimes. It kind of depends on the day what I say. I don't see as many of them down here. There's a couple random food trucks in Midtown where they sell them and stuff, but like up in New York, they're everywhere, bro.
I bet.
They're everywhere, man. Talk about your first impressions of Nashville when you started coming up here, because it's a very different place than where you grew up.
So, my first ever trip to Nashville, my mom said, "Hey, look, your sister's moving to Pigeon Forge. If you help me move her to Pigeon Forge and you don't complain or nothing, I'll take you to Nashville on the way home." And I'm like, "Yes, ma'am, absolutely, anything." Because at this point, I had started writing a little bit, and you know, this was the When It Rains, It Pours, 7 Summers era.
Yeah.
And so I didn't complain at all.
Yeah.
I, unloaded every piece of furniture and drove the U-Haul, did all the things.
Through all those hills out there in Pigeon Forge. Beautiful out there, too.
I was excited.
Yeah.
And so we get my sister all moved in Pigeon Forge. She's going to, work at Dollywood because she's like a theater girl, and she wanted to get her foot in the door of, doing theater and performing arts, that kind of thing.
Nice.
So we're on the way back, and I'm like, "Mom, we're going to Nashville, right?" And she's like, "We're going to Nashville." And we booked this Airbnb, and it's a Wallen-style Airbnb, and it's just had all these
Wallen-themed Airbnb?
I'm like, it had Wallen pictures all over the wall.
Wow.
I'm like...
A bachelorette party's dream.
Yeah. I'm like, what are we doing here? And we get out of the... I'll leave that out. We got out of the car, and I look on the ground, and there's some obscene things, but
yeah,
I mean, it's exactly what you would think was at a Wallen style Airbnb.
And you're there with your mom,
and her her friend who had just retired from working with her. Love her to death.
Yeah,
call her Aunt Mary. But she was just good of a time as my mom was.
Yeah.
And so we go to Tequila Cowboy. It's 4:00 in the afternoon, and I'm just looking around everywhere, and I'm like, "Oh my God, this is heaven! This is exactly what I imagined." And there's just beautiful girls everywhere, and I'm like, "All right, let me explore a little bit." I'm like, "Mom, stay here. I'm gonna go explore."
You enjoy your girls' trip with Aunt Mary.
Yeah, with Aunt Mary, and I realized that Tequila Cowboy connected to what used to be Wannabe's karaoke bar.
Yeah, bro. It's a whole maze in there.
I was like, okay, Mom's never going to find out that I'm at Wannabe's. And I went in there, put my name on the karaoke list, and just told everybody. I had my Taylor County High School hat on. It said TC. And I was like, oh, this is just technical college. I just graduated. I'm a welder. I'm 22.
Yeah.
I'm 16. I convinced a couple groups of girls to buy me water on the rocks.
Yeah.
And I got my name on the list, and it turned 7 or 8 when they started checking IDs, and I just kept my head down.
Yeah.
And I finally got up on the stage, and I sang When It Rains, It Pours, and just put on a show, and the place went crazy. And I was like, oh my God, I'm living the dream right now.
Yeah.
And I put 7 Summers down, and at this point, the list was an hour long.
Yeah.
So I got Aunt Mary and my mom and my sister to come into Wannabe's, and when I sang 7 Summers, I was just there was 10 girls that came up on stage, and I was like, I'm 16. I'm in Nashville. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. That was my first impression of Nashville.
Wow.
And I was like, I got to come back.
Legendary shit right there, bro.
And I didn't come back until it was an official Nashville trip for writing, and thank God. God knows what would have happened if I'd have come back before then.
Yeah, if you had moved up before you were ready.
Well,
dude, what a moment.
God's plan, baby.
Dude, I'd say so. That's incredible, man. Wow. Yeah, and TC now isn't even there. Now it's, I believe that's Posties, right? I think Post Malone's is under Aldean's now. I think they rebranded it. So now it's it's Posties and then Aldean's, and then you have Luke Bryan's.
Wannabe's isn't even there.
Wannabe's isn't even there. Yeah, man. You got to experience semi-OG Broadway, dude. Because when I first moved to town, I was a door guy at Whiskey Row. So I would have been one of those bouncers that would have been giving you a second look back in the day,
Yeah.
And yeah, man, that you were talking about how it's how they all connect to each other. And it used to be a trick when there'd be the long lines. Because I remember when Aldean's first opened, when they built that thing, man, been in town a minute now. And it was if there was a line to get into Aldean's, you could go in through the Wannabe side, or you could go in through the Sun Diner side, and there were like all these little alleyways within the building. So you could go into the diner, act like you're getting a table, then sneak through the employee thing and end up in Aldean's.
Dude.
And cut the line. That was that old, like, being up, just working on the street.
That's
you learn all this
scenes,
stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
behind the scenes, man. 2018 Nashville stuff, you know?
OG stuff.
OG stuff, man. How did that compare to your first trip out to Los Angeles with Freddie? Different world,
I
huh?
like to say, I told Freddie, like, the second day in LA, I'm like, look, dude, I felt more in my element in the Dominican Republic than I did in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
It's just like, because DR is more like Florida than LA is. It was crazy. I mean, it's a culture shock.
It's a lot of people.
So many people. And the traffic, I'm going back to my Airbnb. It's like 8 miles away, and it's like 50 minutes. I'm like, what is going on? I can go 15 miles in 15 minutes at home.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. It was crazy. It's culture shock.
Yeah.
But I told them it'd be the same way when they come to Wakulla County and see how we live out there.
Have they been down there to see you?
We've had some of the media folks come down, and they loved it. I'm really excited for Freddie and them to get their first taste of fishing. And
Man, I can't wait for you to write a hit with Freddie out on the beach.
really, I mean, St. George Island.
Yeah.
I've written some songs on St. George Island about some bad decisions.
Yeah. That's a place to do it.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a place to do it for sure, man. For sure. So, what I love about your sound, man, is it's such a thing that I think everybody's craving, where it's like it's got some up tempo, like sing along. Like I was talking with the team, and it's like I don't want to cry anymore. It just plays in my head, plays in their head over and over and over again, man. Where it's like, where are you coming up with these melodies, and kind of take me through the process with working with Freddie and the folks that you are.
It's really cool because I had an image in my head about where I wanted to be in 10 years or less, and Freddie helped me sharpen the image of where I want to be in 6 months. And being able to write with a melodic genius, you know, there's no denying that. And just see that going to country music, it's like, I used to hate the songs I didn't want to hear myself, like, and then we started, putting out what's going to be on the EP. And now I'm starting to enjoy, what we're writing, and it's a crazy thing to see the difference between what I used to write and what I'm writing now, and just sharpening the craft and the production and everything between Freddie and Paul Sykes.
Oh, Paul's a G, man.
He's the man.
He's been playing our Writers' Nights for years, man. It's been awesome watching what he's done, man.
He's been producing.
He's a beast.
Yeah, he's so like going over there and writing something, and the next day he has this radio-ready track, and I'm like, dude, this is crazy. How did you do this? And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, dude, yeah, he's a G. So seeing them two come together and really get the, I don't want to say, it's not poppy at all, but just the almost, Freddie worked with Billy Joel, almost that Billy Joel style of flowiness.
Bro, it's stuff that I want to sit on a boat and listen to.
Exactly.
It's perfectly reflective of where you're from.
Well, thank you.
It's going to, like, to me, like, all the kids going out on spring break right now, like, it's a song that needs to be on the getting ready to go out playlist. Like, it is spring break kind of shit. Like, it is awesome.
I hope so. I mean, with my debut EP, Saltwater Southern, coming out March 20th, I'm super excited for, I was super strategic about, this is spring break time. This is when everybody's going to start going to the beach again, and I want them to be listening to Saltwater Southern.
Yeah, what is Saltwater Southern to you? Like, I love that. I love that phrase, and I think I know what it means, but tell me what Saltwater Southern means to you.
We had this predicament we were in that I was like, this is super me. Like, all these songs are, it's really hard to think about anybody else putting them out. It'd be cool, but it wouldn't mean as much not being from Florida, and just the slow way of living. And like we said earlier, it's so overlooked with the accents and the Southern way of life because you're from Florida. And I'm like, 20 miles or 50 miles south of Georgia. So like,
Yeah.
and we had a couple phrases we came up with. It's like coastal cowboy. And I'm like, well, I'm not a cowboy.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a cowboy. And finally I was like, what do y'all think about Saltwater Southern? And it's really just that same slow way of living, woods and water, you know, where the trees meet the Gulf, being able to go, you're hunting ducks,
Yeah.
hunting turkeys, you know, you're hunting ducks on the coast, hunting turkeys in the woods on the coast, and you're fishing all in the same spot.
Yeah.
Hunting alligators, you know, the whole 9 yards. It's very niche, and it fits me perfectly. And the track list of the EP, couldn't think of anything else to describe me as an artist and what I can do, where I come from better.
Yeah, man. And I think that's so important to have out there early on. Like when I think of like somebody's first project, like it's the world getting to know that artist, you know, it's so important. Like I think back to the early Wall and stuff. I think back to like that, you talk about When It Rains It Pours, like that first Luke Combs record, the first FGL record, you know, where it's like you got to know what those guys were about. And I think the world's going to get to know what Madden Metcalf's about with Saltwater Southern, bro.
I hope that's the case. I mean, it's really shows every aspect of what I love, and it's not such a strict country record. It's like we have a song on there, Young Loretta, and it really could be whatever genre you want it to be, but it's real, and it means a lot to me that I can go out there and make it country and put some pedal steel on it and put some blues guitar on it and just mix it all together. And that's like part of the Saltwater Southern.
Who is Young Loretta? What is Young Loretta?
So
tell me about it.
Young Loretta, I like to tell this story. So my dad would always tell, if my sister brought a guy over, he'd always say, look, my best friend owns 400 crab traps in Ocklackney Bay. If you hurt my daughter, you're going to wind up in every single one of them. And I found something very interesting about that. And there's a lot of girls where I come from that are just sweet as sin, but twice as dangerous. Just like, stay away from them kind of thing. And we had this idea about, you know, she makes love like a V8 truck, but she looks like Young Loretta. And I was like, sold.
Yeah.
And we wrote that, and it's, like I said, it doesn't even have to be country. It's just real, and every person has a Young Loretta in their life.
Yeah.
You know exactly who I'm talking about. You know, you should get away from her. You just can't.
No.
At all.
You don't want to, man.
You can't turn the other direction. I mean, and like you said, you don't want to.
Yeah, man, absolutely. That's awesome. And I think it's awesome that you're working with Freddie, one, because he's a legend, but two, like his experience. Like you talk about, like in today's climate of where music is and where country music is, a lot of the Billy Joel stuff would fit in the world. Like Billy Joel, if he were coming up now, could be on a country music festival. Like
Absolutely.
the genres, he could be like in where like that Red Clay Strays or that Muscadine Bloodline, like in that world with some of his stuff that Freddie worked on with.
Like almost, I don't want to say Marcus King, but almost a Marcus King kind of.
It's in that realm, dude.
Yeah.
And that's what's so cool is you can just take chances. It used to be you had to kind of be in this box, or your brand had to be in this box. But where you come from, there's so many different styles. Like there's even like the steel drums and the islandy thing, because you're along the coast. Like you could really do whatever the hell you want to do.
It's I've heard a lot of artists say country music is the biggest it's ever been. And not saying, you know, obviously streaming wise and radio wise, it's huge right now. But the fact that all these different people can have their own lane and all be going up at the same time, because they're not the same artists anymore.
Yeah.
Like there's not just one great guy that has pedal steel on a song. Like we can all have all these different instruments and we all sound different, and it's really cool to be able to go up at the same time as a lot of other artists, and you know that you're never going to have to butt heads or try to sound like each other, because you're all in your own lane and you're singing about different things.
Yeah.
But it's still country because it's real music and country fans love it.
Hey man, it's that storytelling. Like you talk about growing up with your dad. Like it's the story, man.
Absolutely.
It's about the story. It's a little more than 3 chords these days, but it's still the truth. You
Yeah.
know, it's and there's so many. I look at it like there's flavors of ice cream. You know, we have a shit ton of flavors of ice cream out there right now in the
Yeah.
country music world. You want to rock a little bit, you throw on some Treaty Oak. You want to get a little degenerate and wild, you throw on some Gavin. You want to get in your feels, you can throw on a Sad Zach Top song. You
Yeah.
know, even on the female side, like Ella and Megan and what they're doing. Like, there's so many different styles, man.
Don't get me started on Ella.
Yeah,
I'm in love with her songwriting.
yeah.
And like she's killing.
And it's awesome. She's somebody that I got to know. Like, I think I was her first podcast back in
Really?
the day. Yeah, I got to know her. I met her playing kickball during COVID when none of us had shows, and she used to play down at the Floribama and play down in Tuscaloosa and Birmingham because she's a South Alabama girl from
Yeah.
just outside of Montgomery. And it's like, yeah, that's what's cool. And you'll notice that being in town more is you see other guys and girls like that become your friends and watching their journeys as well. Because it's like 5-6 years ago, she was sitting in your shoes figuring out what does she want to put out first.
Right.
You know, and now she's one of the biggest stars in the world. It's crazy.
We had a right schedule with Joy Beth. And
Oh, dude. JB is the homie,
Yeah.
man. Yeah,
but
she's the
at,
best.
At this point in time, she was pregnant, right?
Yeah, she just had her little one. Yeah.
So she was pregnant, and that night Ella had sold out the Ryman,
Yeah.
and understandably so.
Yeah.
We didn't write that day.
Yeah, man. She has a superpower, which I look forward to getting you on. I know you're playing Whiskey Jam tonight, which is going to be awesome. But I look forward to getting you on some of our writers' nights and writers' rounds. And what's cool about the writers' rounds. Have you done any of those before?
I did like a guitar pool kind of thing for like a showcase a couple
cool.
weeks ago.
Okay, sweet.
I
So
love some rounds though.
yeah,
I'm
dude.
really excited.
We'll get you on those for sure. We've been talking about that with the team, so we'll make that happen. But sometimes you're in a bar and everybody's talking and it's loud, but then you'll get that one writer, that one artist that just knows how to shut the room up with not even saying like, "Hey guys, be quiet," but by having that thing. And it's JB's always had that, whether it was at Live Oak back in the day or it was over at Duck Blind or we've had her over at the local, like any room that we put her in, she just has this power. And I don't know if it's the softness in her voice, it's the lyrics in the songs. Like she can just get a whole room to shut up like that.
It's crazy.
She's just this tiny little girl from outside of Birmingham. You know, it's wild.
I love to go back home and like they're like, who did you write this song with? And I can say, oh, the Warren Brothers or Dan Isbell or
Yeah.
you know, Paul Sykes,
Yeah.
whoever I want to say, and my buddies are not going to quite understand.
No, you don't know unless you know or you're really, really into it.
Like to us, I like to say they're not famous to you, but they're famous to the famous people.
Yeah.
And that really means a lot because songwriters to me mean more than a lot of artists. Respectfully so, but it's just a songwriter town, and without those songwriters who just put in work every day, and they're the ones behind the curtain, you know, writing and great friends, love this place as a songwriter town and the grind of being a songwriter.
Yeah.
Just we've done been able to do a lot of cool things in the last year or so.
Yeah.
But there's nothing quite as cool to me as being able to sit in a room with a few buddies and just write a tune.
Yeah, it's like they say, no farmers, no food, no songwriters, no songs.
Exactly.
And it's like that in the fishing world, too. You don't have the guys that are out there working the traps. You're not going to have those crabs to eat at the restaurant. There's no crab cakes without the guys and girls working the traps.
At all.
You know, it's the same thing. Without the songwriters, you don't have the music to listen to. It's an ecosystem.
But I love how Nashville recognizes that.
Yeah.
And you know, Freddie's, when we were going to writers' rounds and stuff, just meeting with different writers and writing, and he's like, I've never seen a place embrace songwriters quite like Nashville does.
Yeah.
And that's so special. I'm sure to him, it's really special to me seeing, you know, how grateful Nashville is to writers. And when folks come to Nashville, they do want to go see the writers' rounds, and they want to go to the Bluebird, and they want to go to the listening room.
Yeah.
And that's just the coolest thing to me.
Yeah, man, it is. So we're in the spring now of 2026. We got Saltwater Southern coming out. But what are the big things that you're excited for this year?
Turkey season opens up next Friday
Okay,
in Florida. I will have to.
I've never gone hunting in my life. I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy. Grew up outside New York City, so I've
Come
never been
on.
out. I've had a lot of friends. I've worked with guys and girls from Alabama and Georgia and Florida and all that. I've never been hunting, but the turkey in Florida is the Osceola, right?
Way south Florida.
That's way south.
Yeah.
So you're hunting like normal turkeys where you're at.
Easterns, yeah.
Easterns, okay.
Easterns, the Eastern wild turkey. I was born and raised deer hunter. So,
Okay.
I mean, between my dad and my grandpa, it was just deer hunting. And it's all they took me to do. And then the last couple of years when I could start to kind of make my own money and afford to go duck hunting, I'd go with buddies duck hunting, and I fell in love with duck hunting. And then I got into this turkey thing, and I got the itch.
I've heard the turkey itch. I know Gary from Muscadine Bloodline. He was again deer hunter forever. Had gone out, done his thing because they're Mobile guys, so they're Lower Alabama. But then during COVID, he got really into turkeys, and now he's like gone all over. I think he's got like 20 or 30 states that he's killed a turkey in. He has them all mounted on his wall. Like I hear when you get into turkey hunting, it's a different level than any other kind.
And I thought buck fever, like when you harvest a buck, especially a big buck,
Yeah.
and you're just like shaking, you can see your thick jacket moving because your heart's beating. So
That famous Luke Bryan video, is he down?
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 I brought that up to a mutual friend of Luke's, and he thought that was scripted. Like he thought that was a parody video making fun of one of the hunting shows. And I'm like, dude, that is Luke after he killed a buck. And he's like, that's hilarious. I never knew that.
Buck fever.
Yeah. But so they say, duck hunting, you don't really get that. You get like the high five and the buddies and, oh my God, 6 ducks just flew in and we got all of them.
Yeah.
And they're flying at Mach Jesus. But with turkeys, I've heard it's buck fever times 10.
Yeah, because you're having to call that thing in. Like, it's a whole different level of strategy from what I've heard.
Primal. Like,
Yeah.
you're sitting right there with a wild animal, and you're acting like a hen, and they're chasing you. You have to outsmart them. I'm really stoked for it. I haven't killed one yet. This year's my year. I'm super stoked for it.
That's awesome, dude. So turkey season coming up, the EP coming out. What are we looking at for the summer?
Radio and, hitting the road, hopefully, and just
Nice.
doing all the things. Staying busy.
Yeah.
I can't stand to go back home and just look around like back to reality. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I went home last week for the first time since Christmas, and I realized I was sitting on my behind, and I was like, what am I supposed to do this week? So I called my uncle, and I said, hey, y'all need help at the restaurant? He said, yeah, and we need help on the crab boat, too. And I was like, dadgummit. So I went back and hopped on the crab boat. But it's funny because all I ever wanted to do when I was commercial fishing and working in the restaurant was come here and play music.
Yeah.
And now it's so awesome that I can go back home and work at the restaurant and bond with those guys, and that they can see that I'm not forgetting about them, and I still love to do that. It's like I said, it kind of blocks out a little bit of the noise.
Yeah.
When all you can think about is shaking the next trap or pulling the next trap.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and also at the same time, it's such a grind up here to be able to go back home and get completely away from it for even if it's just like 24, 48 hours. Like it's a quick trip home and you get out on that boat and you're not worrying about all the chaos that's going on with your career. That's got to be nice to get out on the boat.
There's no meeting I have to be at.
Yeah.
There's no like, oh, I got to write in 5 minutes. It's just throwing crab traps, pulling crab traps and throwing crab traps.
Yeah. How long have you been living up here?
I'm still, see, right now is a weird period.
Yeah, because I thought you weren't quite here, like you were still visiting, but now I hear you're going back home. So you like living somewhere in between, or where you at?
So technically, I live in Panama City. But
oh, that's okay.
I
So
just
it's
moved
another
into
part
a
of
new
Florida.
house about a month and a half ago, and I've stayed 6 nights there. I don't think I'm really living anywhere besides maybe out of my truck. I mean, so I'm just kind of all over the place. When I'm here for a few weeks, and I love it. When
Yeah.
I'm home for a little bit, and I'm off to the next thing, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I've been living out of a suitcase since 13. So
Well, that's gonna make
why change it now?
That's gonna make touring nice and easy for you when you get out there, bro.
I love it. I love the go, just getting stuff done.
Yeah.
Like, what can I do next?
Yeah.
Because if I'm just chillaxing, time moves very slow.
Yeah, same, bro. Absolutely. I can't wait for you to hit those college towns. I can't wait to hear about you playing in Statesboro, Georgia, or playing in which Statesboro is God's country. Shout out to all my good friends in Statesboro. I love Georgia Southern, man.
Yeah,
That's one of my
Georgia
favorite
Southern.
college towns. Or going into Tuscaloosa, or going into Starkville, or Knoxville, or Gainesville, or Tallahassee, places that you might have a little bit more familiarity with. Where is your college fandom allegiance at?
I mean, I played a frat show for a good buddy of mine. He's a social chair at SAE at Troy in Alabama.
Oh, that's Dothan, Alabama. Troy, Alabama knows how to get down.
Yeah, and it's such a small college that they can still, all you have to do is play one show, and half the campus knows your name just because you played for SAE and springtime show. Everybody's at a basketball game, but so there I played Potbellies at Florida State. I don't know if you've ever been down there, but Potbellies is like Old Row ranked it the third best college bar in the United States. And the owner hollered at me. He's like, dude, I really want you to come play. And I'm like, I really want to come play.
Yeah.
So we hit it off there. So it's just really all over the place. And Panama City is going to be fun. Doing that same kind of Luke Bryan thing that he made all the frats and
dude, that's the way to do it. If you're coming up out of the Southeast, like, why not? And that's why I love Statesboro. You can't talk about the history of country music because it's where Luke Bryan went to college with Dallas Davidson, and that was a whole era.
Cole
Swindell was a fan going to Luke's shows, helping him load in and out gear,
guy, right?
And then he sold merch, and then he started writing songs. Nowadays, I mean, it's where Gavin Adcock went to college and had
Dylan
that famous one. Dylan Marlowe was born and raised there.
You got a lot of borough boys.
Will Mosley,
Cole Goodwin, shout out.
Cole Goodwin, Bryce Leatherwood. There's guys down there right now like Cade Beecher and Ben Bates that are cutting the teeth. I try to stay. Landon Smith's another one. Like, there's so many. Like, I try to keep my eyes and ears on, like, the state of Alabama, just because my history with Trey and the Muscadine guys and Ella and stuff. But then that South Georgia region, there's so much
Borough boys
talent. The Borough boys, man, they say Gatta. They say get after that ass. They know how to party.
They
like,
absolutely
that is
know
their
how to party.
school motto.
I mean, the Blue Room.
Yeah, man.
That's such a legendary venue.
That was the first show I did coming out of, like, during COVID. I went down there December 1st. It was the week that DDID came out for Trey, and I was selling his T-shirts, and it was my first time in there.
Huge.
How huge is that? No, bro, it was crazy.
That song was insane.
Yeah, dude, and that was the first place that we went. That was my first time. I'd gone from working with Muscadine to doing that. That was my first time in Statesboro, and it was a time. And then we went back there 2 months later, played back-to-back nights, sold it out.
You've got 1,000 Georgia Southern kids singing.
Oh, dude, they get yeah, dude, but not even just. That's just they love live music down there, and they just did Gatta Jam down there with Bailey and Hudson and Blake White, and like
that's become huge.
Yeah, man, it's just I can't wait for those college markets to have your live show in there, man, because like you said, that's a model that going back to Corey Smith back in the day in Georgia.
I love Corey Smith.
Yeah, man, he's the godfather. Without Corey Smith, you don't have an FGL, you don't have a Jason Aldean, you don't have a Brantley Gilbert, you don't have all those guys because he taught him, hey, start in the college town. For him, it was Athens, and then just grow your circle. Start selling out shows in Athens, and then you can work your way down to Macon, or you can work your way out to Milledgeville. Same thing in Florida with Jake Owen. It's like you start in Tallahassee when he was going to school at State, and then he started just growing his circle, man?
I would say Corey Smith is my most under the radar influence.
Yeah.
I never knew he was crazy under the radar until I looked at like monthly listeners and followers and everything.
Dude, yeah, he ended up just staying local in Georgia, and he had opportunities to come up here. Like, I'll be honest, I didn't really know who Corey Smith was till I moved down here. He's a Southern thing, and there's other guys that come up in that world too. Like, there's regionally, look in Texas, there's so many great artists just make their living playing in Texas.
And it's crazy.
There's legends in Florida. Like, you talk about those cover bands, it's like they're superstars in their small pond. They make a great living,
I've heard a lot about like Coe and Parker both.
Dude, yeah.
Before they even toured outside of Texas, they had these crazy enterprises in Texas. And like everyone in Texas, the state of Texas knew their names.
Yeah, dude.
And no one outside knew who they were yet.
Yeah.
And they start touring the country and streaming like crazy, radio like crazy.
I remember Co and Muscadine kind of worked out a little. They became friends back in like back when I was like 2017, 2018, like right when like Noise Can Play, and then when Harold Saul High came out, and we would go out with Muscadine when I was selling merch for them. We'd go out to Texas and open shows for Co, and then Co would come out to Alabama and open shows for Muscadine. And that was how Muscadine got into Texas, and that was how Co got into Alabama. And it's making those friendships because they were both huge in their markets and they were independent at the time. And we're like, why don't we just do this shit together? You come play for our crowd, we'll come play for your crowd.
That's what I'm most excited for, is creating those friendships.
Dude, that's so much of it is the hang and just being a good human. It's like if you're a shitty person, there's some that's find their way up to the top, but it's a lot easier and a lot more rewarding and fun when you're just a good human and you create cool shit with your friends.
That's something
what this is
that I really want to live by, is just like,
yeah,
you see all these folks that are too good to hang out with, like the OGs of their lives, and like just these, for lack of better words, just like dickhead musicians that are just too good for their own good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's stopping people from being a good person?
Yeah, it's not hard.
I mean, I saw someone had said, if you pass somebody on the way up and you're an ass to them, you might have to pass them on the way back down, and you might need their help one day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, absolutely. I mean, we're all in this together. We're all going towards the same goal. What's stopping us from? It's like I see Luke Bryan and Blake Shelton now have their talking battles on Instagram and all their moments, and I'm like, it's so cool to me that I can make friends and lasting friendships. I mean, they've probably been friends for 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's what I'm most looking forward to, and hitting the road with, folks like that, and just writing with them, and like the Co Parker thing, like they're best friends, and they're just on the way up together.
Yeah, dude. And you're going to find those guys and girls that you connect with here in town and that are going to be like part of your class. Like when I moved here, my class was Trey, and it was Ella, and it was Dylan Marlowe, and it was like that 2018 to 2020. And then all the COVID kids moved here. And then it's like you have like you instantly, there's that instant bond when you're out in the bars with the other people that are new to town, because you're all new here. So it's like you build those bonds and those friendships and those connections with the other guys and girls that are new here.
And it's almost instant.
Yeah.
Like I know you had Dalton Davis on.
Oh, dude, I love Dalton, man.
How do you not like that guy?
Yeah, man. We got connected with him through a mutual friend, through our buddy Sam Crabtree, back in the day. And they're from the same hometown in North Carolina. And we had Dalton playing our rounds that we used to do back in the day in Key West. And he played some of our stuff up here. And watching what he's doing right now is sick, man.
That's a really good example. It's like me and Dalton could not get any more distant in our sound. And, even the instruments that we use, the tempos, and we're like on the way up together, and we're supporting each other.
Yeah.
And he's got the pedal steel country thing going on. Yeah. And I've got some of the modern stuff, still storytelling. Yeah. And it's really cool to see each other, and be right there next to each other. And I'm really excited to just see the future for both of us, and what we got in the future for all of these new artists that are popping out.
Yeah, dude. Well, man, thank you so much for coming on here. This was freaking awesome.
Thank you.
Getting to hang, bro. Like, sky's the limit, brother. Like, it really is. I can't wait for Saltwater Southern to be out. And I can't wait to see your name start popping up on tours, hearing your songs on the radio, man, and just continuing to watch you grow, dude. And you ever need anything in town, man, you feel free to reach out, and welcome to the Raised Rowdy family, brother.
Well, thank you, dude. I'm excited to thank you for having me. And
man.
Excited to get you down to Florida. Let's go fishing or something.
Dude, I'm so down for that. Let's do it for sure. That'd be awesome. And I got a bunch of good food spots up here that we'll get you eating right. Not quite the seafood that you'd have, so we'll take you to some other stuff. There's all kinds of some great Mexican restaurants. That's what blew my mind about moving to the South. Was
Southernized Mexican.
Yeah, bro. It's an institution. Everybody says grace on a Wednesday night at a Mexican restaurant. Like FGL used to sing about. But y'all be sure to go check out our boy Madden Metcalf. Saltwater Southern, the new EP. Go and check it out and give him a follow on social media. Be on the lookout. It's a rocket ship that you're going to want to hop onto and somebody that you're going to want to say, I was listening to him back in 2026 before you're paying all kinds of money to go see him selling out shows around the world. For more on us, visit RaisedRowdy.com. Shout out as always to our friends from Surfside. No bubbles, no troubles. And we will see you guys next time. For my man, Madden Metcalf, I'm Matt Burrill. This has been Outside the Round.
I ain't never been the kind for staying one place for too long. I ain't never been the best at saying I love you to a girl I love. Only got a couple tricks up my sleeve. They usually just make